The Queen Margaret Union is one of two students' unions at the University of Glasgow, Scotland. Founded in 1890, it caters to the social and cultural needs of its members by providing a range of services including entertainment, catering, shop facilities, bars and games. History. The Queen Margaret Union was founded in 1890 by students of the Queen Margaret College in the West End of Glasgow to provide an outlet for their social and cultural needs. The QM Union originated in the basement rooms of the college until 1906, when the expansion of the college meant that the space was needed for teaching. A bazaar was held by the Board of Management to raise money to erect and furnish a union building to house the union. The bazaar was held over 4 days and featured a number of stalls selling many different items from clothes to pieces of furniture. Although the funds were raised, a building was never created for the union to occupy. After a few years of trying to decide how best to spend the money, a house at 31 Buckingham Terrace was rented. In 1912, the College Club at the University of Glasgow went into liquidation and the QM Union took over the premises at 67 Ann Street until 1922, when it moved across the road from the Glasgow University Union in the John McIntyre Building, to be based at 1 University Gardens. During this period, the QM Union mostly provided space for its members to study, discuss, debate and eat. In 1932, as the Men's Union grew in size and had a building built at the bottom of Gilmore Hill, its previous home in the John McIntyre Building was given to the QM Union. At this time in its history, the QM Union was beginning to explore, rather successfully, in the world of university debating. Men and other delegates were allowed to attend, but only as distinguished strangers, who sat in a separate gallery. Other facilities included a library, dining room, study space, and cubicles so that members who lived at home out with the city centre could stay over after public transport had ended. The building quickly became inadequate to provide for the University of Glasgow's growing female population. In 1968, a building at 22 University Gardens was built to accommodate the then so-called QMs. The women of the QMU were often strongly involved in the debating circuit and especially in rectorial elections and campaigns at the university. However, for some years many students had questioned the division of the sexes at Glasgow. This became more marked with the passing of the Sex Discrimination Act 1975. The two unions had an agreement allowing reciprocal use of much of each other's facilities, but some saw the arrangement as unbalanced. The QM Union allowed men to use the bulk of its facilities with a few restrictions, but the GUU confined women to the extension, excluding them from the older half of the building. The mixing debate gained momentum in the mid-1970s, but neither union seemed willing to change its stance. As the decade came to a close, several males had requested to join the QMU. It held a general meeting in 1979 and changed its constitution to allow men to become members. The GUU followed 1 year later but continued for some time to bar women from the beer bar in the basement. The first male member of QMU was Michael William McCulloch, whose application had forced the EGM by the collection of over 500 signatures of support. Over 99% of the huge attendance at the EGM accepted the amendment. Disregarding Islamic universities, Glasgow was the last such institution to discriminate in any way on gender grounds in the Western world, bar the University of Sydney, Australia. A serious fire in 1982 shut the building for several months and sparked nearly a decade of financial problems for the union. However, between 1989 and 1992, effective management and prudent financial controls saw the union become financially solvent once again. brought about by the President's Board of Management and General Manager of that time. Modern day. The early 1990s saw the QMU become an established live music venue, notably Nirvana, Soundgarden, Smashing Pumpkins, Hole, Garbage and Bill and Amp Sebastian all played on the Union's main stage. This continued with bands such as Coldplay, Biffy Clyro and Franz Ferdinand playing on the same stage in the 2000s. And in 2016, Troye Sivan performed at the venue, marking his first visit to Scotland on his Blue Neighbourhood tour. The late 1990s until the early 2000s saw the QMU redevelop many of its social and commercial areas, including all of its bars. Other recent notable events at the QMU have included supporting Charles Kennedy in his successful campaign to become rector. As of 2008, the QM Union, with just over 5,000 members, is based at number 22 University Gardens, near to the rear entrance of the Boydor building. The current building opened in 1967. Membership is split fairly equally among the sexes, and the QMU has maintained high membership levels for many years. In 2007 and 2009, Communicate, the QM Union's member-run fortnightly publication, won the Best Magazine Award at the Herald Scottish Student Press Awards. It was shortlisted in 2006, 2008 and 2010. In 2010, Ruara E.J. McIntyre, Cunicate's resident columnist, won the Best Columnist Award at the Herald Student Press Awards. The Union was again faced with financial difficulty in the 2000s as a result of the University of Glasgow cutting the block grant, the money annually supplied to both unions, by around half. This, exacerbated by the financial crisis of 2007-08, meant the Union saw several consecutive years of financial loss. Responding to these financial difficulties, work by successive boards of management to engage with university management led to parity of funding with the Glasgow University Union for the first time in 2010 and the subsequent reinstatement of the block grant in 2011. However, many changes in the tastes, lifestyles and expectations of students have left the Queen Margaret Union, and many other student unions, facing severe problems. Relationship with other student organizations. Although there are two unions at the University of Glasgow, most students choose to only join one of them. Some students think that joining both is not allowed, but many first years join both before deciding which union they prefer. In 2003-2004, both unions attempted to change the constitutions to allow for automatic joint student membership. The QMU successfully made the required changes, but due to an irregularity in procedures, the GUU did not put the matter to a vote and the process was abandoned. The University of Glasgow is not affiliated to the National Union of Students, with the QMU instead being part of Northern Services, a purchasing consortium set up by the Students' Unions of Edinburgh. A vote was held in 2006 to ask students whether the university should affiliate to the NUS. The QMU played a large part in the No to NUS campaign in 2006 at the University of Glasgow. Governance. Board of Management. The QMU is run by a student board of management biannually elected by the membership. The names of the presidents of the union are preserved on a board in the main stairwell of the union, and photographs of each entire board of management are taken at the start of the term of office and displayed on the walls of the boardroom. The board is divided into three distinct parts. The executive comprises the offices of president, and 2 vice presidents and are charged with the day-to-day running of the union and maintaining a high level of discipline. Member and clubs and societies' involvement and representing the union externally. They oversee every event, operation and campaign within the union, and also act as trustees. The conveners are each responsible for an aspect of the union's activity. The conveners as of 2014 are Events Convener, Publications Convener, Social Convener and Campaigns and AMP Charities Convener. They each chair a committee of union members, as described below. The largest section of the board is that of the current student representatives. The CSR committee is composed of 12 elected students, 3 of whom are in the first year of study, who are largely free to involve themselves with whatever aspects of the union they see fit. A convener of current student representatives is elected from amongst them to represent the committee as a whole to the executive and conveners in weekly meetings. In addition to this, the Board of Management contains 2 former student members, the past president, honorary president and 2 honorary vice presidents. The current president of the Queen Margaret Union is Jack Smith. Committees. The Board of Management is fed ideas through a committee structure. Active committees in 2014 are Events. The Events Committee assists the planning and running of all QM-run events that take place in the union's venue. Kudos. Tech Team. The Tech Team are involved with the practicalities of running the QM's events, including lighting and sound tech. Social. The Social Committee are concerned with the planning and execution of the events that take place every day in Jim's Bar, one of the union's 3 bars, from pub quizzes and acoustic nights to comedy and new theatre drawn from the students of the University of Glasgow. Publications. The Publications Committee are responsible for all union publications, namely the production and distribution of Communicate magazine, the union's in-house News and Views magazine. Campaigns and AMP Charities. The C and AMP C Committee oversee all union fundraising and campaigns. Fundraising for local charities and campaigning for wider causes has been an integral part of the Queen Margaret Union for many years. Committee meetings can be attended by any member of the union. Facilities. The QMU offers a number of facilities over 4 floors. Aside from general facilities such as cash machines, toilets, a laundry room and a TV room, the union's facilities include ground floor a general shop, stocking items similar to that of a standard newsagent, stationery, confectionery and university and union clothing, including lab coats. Kudos. The union's primary venue is used to host club nights and gigs and has a capacity of approximately 900. Amongst the most famous bands to have played there on the way to making it bigger Queen and Nirvana, as have other more recent bands such as Biffy Clyro. It has also been used for regular film nights and large pub quizzes. Café 22, a coffee shop also serving hot and cold food, cake and soup. A photocopying service. First floor Jim's Bar, named after a legendary bar manager who died, has sofas, comfortable booths, a jukebox, and a well-stocked bar. Many small union events are run in Jim's Bar, including the Big Wednesday night pub quiz, the Friday union quiz, Unplugged open mic night on a Tuesday, comedy, DJs and game shows. Champions Bar. The QMU's sports bar with a large projector screen, several smaller televisions, 4 pool tables, foosball table and a bar. Second floor The Food Factory, offering a variety of hot and cold foods, most notably sandwiches and pizzas, and a rotating daily menu offering meat and vegetarian options. Scran, a bistro serving a variety of meals including pasta, steak, fajitas and burgers. Third floor, the Executive Office, a cramped cupboard home to the current President, Honorary Secretary, Honorary Assistant Secretary. 4 committee rooms, used by the Union's many affiliated clubs and societies as well as students for group study. Laundry facilities, housing 2 tumble dryers and washing machines. TV room, a room with a TV and social space for all members. Administrative offices, the board room, in which the Board of Management meet fortnightly to discuss and plan all union events, services and campaigns. This is also the setting for the 4 weekly members' committee meetings. Gender-neutral toilets. Archives. The archives of the QMU are maintained by the Archives of the University of Glasgow.